Hello everyone, my name is Paul Patton and welcome to Investors with Time. This is an investment education service. I am creating this short video to help people understand how to navigate and utilize this website. So you'll be able to see my screen here as I narrate, and at the top here's the top menu of the website. Here's an About Me page. Feel free to walk through this About Me page to understand a little bit of my background, my experiences with investing, and why I created this online interactive website. Okay, going back to the main page, clicking on Home. To start us off, I have this introduction to the website. I created this website to help people understand how to successfully mitigate risk when investing in the market. I want to help others learn from my mistakes and years of knowledge so they can make sound investments, or at least understand the risk of any investment they're in, whether that's in personal accounts, 401ks, retirement IRAs. So this introduction section explains how to utilize the website, but I'm going to walk you through it in this video. Let's begin with the My Portfolio strategy. If you scroll down, you can see a snapshot of the first bullet from the strategy, but if you click here, it opens up the entire page. You'll see that this closely resembles the value investor strategy, which is the market is affected by emotion, which creates opportunities to capture undervalued positions. This walks through how I will be looking for those undervalued positions and talks a lot about focusing on the fundamentals, understanding the fundamentals of these positions, and also how to analyze the risk of those investments. This also talks a lot about emotion and not letting emotion govern investing decisions. A value investor needs to gather enough facts and information so they can be confident in the investment, so they can hold on to it through the ups and down cycles on the way to the investment goal. And this also talks a lot about the most valuable advantage that a value investor has, which is time. Now let's go back to the home page. And the next section is the 10 rules of investing. So now that I have an overall strategy for finding positions, I want to evaluate those positions to determine if they are going to be a good investment. So here's a snapshot of the first rule, but if you click here, it will open up to the remaining 10. Now, in order for a position to become undervalued, there's usually negative market sentiment surrounding the position. So at that point, I need to distinguish whether that's real or imaginary fear surrounding that particular position. So these first few rules help understand market sentiment and whether that's built into the price. Now, if this position has negative market sentiment, the fundamentals become crucial. So I have some general rules of thumb for price-to-earnings ratios, and I also have some screening tools for evaluating a company's balance sheet to ensure that it's still healthy. I also talk about utilizing technical and seasonality analyses to determine the risk of your entry point. And you know, it's impossible to catch the bottom in price for a particular position. So really all you can do is evaluate the risk of your entry point. And you try to just buy and hold value. If you buy and hold value, as long as you're willing to wait for the market to realize that value, typically you'll end up with a successful investment. That's why time is the most valuable investing tool, because others sometimes don't have time to wait and let their investment prosper. Now let's go back to the main page. Scroll down past the 10 rules of investing and we get to the current positions table. So this is the interactive part of the website where I'm going to display some of my actual investments, and the main reason for this is to show people how I am utilizing the strategy and the 10 rules of investing in how I analyze risk for certain positions. So this is a little bit of a learn through example type of approach. So the way this positions table works is here's the position that I've selected, and then you can scroll across the top here of these columns and it explains what each column, it's a brief description for each column. So you've got the symbol, the entry date that I've selected to invest in this position, the price that it was, and then I have this buy at or under, which is a purchase price that should not be exceeded. And then I go through and I analyze the 4 major risk categories. I do fundamental, technical, sentiment, and seasonality. So fundamental risk is an analysis to try to understand how expensive it is to be a part of a company's earnings. And then for commodities, it's mostly around break-even prices. So for each risk category, I have a designation that I've selected, and it ranges from low, medium to high. And when you click on these designations, it will pull up the analysis report that I have put together, gathering facts and information about this particular position. And I show this report of how I came up with my risk designation that can be found at the bottom of the page. So going back to the positions table, so that was for fundamental, and now for technical, this is trying to understand what a technical trader would be looking at. So this is a technical analysis with a risk designation, and you can click on that designation and it comes up with the report of how I came to that conclusion. There's a lot of different traders in this world that are looking at different things, and it's good to just be aware of what everybody else is looking at. So even though I lean more on fundamentals for evaluating positions, it's good to know what a technical trader is looking at also. So back at the table, then there's the sentiment. I talked a lot about sentiment and just trying to understand if negative sentiment is built in or even warranted for affecting the price of a position. And so you can click on that designation for that report. And I also have seasonality, which is the idea that positions or certain sectors of the market will do better during certain times of the year rather than others. And so you can click on that report. And then I have an overall risk where I use the 4 risk analysis to come up with an overall risk designation. And then I have the current price of the position, whether there's a dividend yield for that position, and then I have the total return column that shows the total return of that position, which includes any dividends. I will also update these reports as time goes on. The fundamental risk won't change very often, usually once a quarter. The technical sentiment seasonality will change more often, usually every month or every other month. And the idea is as the overall risk gets higher for a particular position, this will lead me to an exit point for selling the position. So once I've sold a position, it will come down here to the sold positions table, and this will show the symbol for the position, the entry date and price, the exit date and price for the position when it was sold, the return from dividends, and the overall total return from the investment. As things change on the positions tables, as I add reports or change reports, you can go up to the portfolio updates, and I will have posts of what's changed and the date that it was changed. Also, please feel free to go through my disclaimer and my terms and conditions and my privacy policy. And I hope that this website helps you analyze risk in your own investment portfolios. And I wish you good luck and God bless.